Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Zulaika Zulkifli, and today I'll be presenting the introduction for our group project. Okay, for our group project, we have picked engine block. Okay, firstly, what is the function for engine block? Okay, engine block contains some of the moving parts of the engine, contain part of the cooling circuit, form the combustion chamber with the cylinder head, provide support for auxiliary equipment, and provide support for the part of the lubricant circuit. Then, moving on to the problem statement. Okay, the problem statement that we want to overcome is we want to know the several factors involved in choosing a suitable casting process for manufacturing the engine block. Okay, some of these factors are the type of the material that can be used in the casting process for making the engine block, then the type of part that can be cast for the engine block, the finish of the product, and lastly, the cost that is involved in making the engine block. And lastly, the objective of our project is this report major goals are to examine the various casting techniques that can be utilized to create an engine block. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Murshid bin Musa. I want to present about the engine block. Firstly, the engine block has cylinder and other parts. Older engines had merely a cylinder block and a crankcase. Modern engine blocks sometimes combine with the crankcase and cylinder blocks. It regulates engine lubrication, temperature, and stability in car. High temperature engine cores are built. Engine blocks have several oil tubes to circulate the oil. Water passageways keeps the engine cool. Engine blocks use grey cast iron. Nickel and chromium may improve their quality. Lightweight aluminium components improve performance. Aluminium blocks have steel or wrought iron cylinder sleeve. Then I want to present about type of engine. Number 1 is inline engine. 4 or 6 cylinder inline engines are standard. Most car can fit an 8 cylinder inline engine. Other engines can match an inline engine's mechanical and physical balance. Inline engines are also more refined. The Mk4 Toyota Supra 2JZ inline engine is the best known. This engine is noted for its dependability and modifiability without interior effort. Number 2 is flat engine. Flat or boxer engine are the rarest engine types. Flat engines horizontal cylinder face each other during combustion, framing each other. Flat engines are V-shaped with 180 degrees bottom angles. 6-cylinder engines illustration. Since 1960, the Porsche 911 series has used the famous flat 6 engine. Another famous flat engine car is Subaru WRX STI 2.0 flat 4 engine. Number 3 is V engine. V engine have 2 banks of cylinder and 1 crankshaft. From the front of an engine, the cylinder banks form a V. V engines are shorter yet broader than inline engines. Most car engines have 6, 8, 10 or 12 cylinders. Many automakers make V-shaped engines with different cylinder counts and diameters. It generates plenty of horsepower for performance. This engine is popular with Audi, Lamborghini, and Mercedes-Benz. This engine provides comfort and performance. After that is dimension engine. Engine capacity is sometimes called displacement. It measures engine piston volume. A higher number means each vehicle engine piston can move more air and petrol. The centimeters cube is the dimension of the engine. Engines above 1000 cc are often rounded to the closest tenth of a liter. This number usually increase engine power. Engine power is measured in horsepower and brake horsepower. Larger engines may accelerate faster and haul more. In larger engines use more gas and provide more power. Then, the material of the engine blocks. Manufacturers use grey cast iron and aluminium for engine blocks. Nickel and chromium boost their characteristics. Cast iron reduce abrasion in most engine cylinder walls. Plating cylinder walls with chromium reduce abrasion and extend service life. The cylinder wall interior is exposed to combustion and hot gases between 1500 degrees Celsius and 2500 degrees Celsius due to pressure condition above the piston cavity. The material must be strong and mechanical. Thus, cast iron and aluminum alloy comprise the engine. The pie graphic shows both material composition. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Syarul Hakim bin Abgani, CD210256. I will present my part that in manufacturing process that is sand casting. Sand casting is a cost-efficient method of producing metal casting using sand mold. Okay. It involves pouring molten metal into the mold, which take the desired shape. Additive help the sand maintain its form. Compared to die casting, sand casting is cheaper and requires less frequent mold replacement. Machining may be done after casting for final shaping and finishing. So after we do this process of sand casting, we need to make a finishing for the part to make it more smooth. So we use a machine like lathe machine and something like cutting machine. For the process, mold there is for 5 steps: mold making, core making, mold arrangement, pouring of molten metal, and removal from cast mold. Okay, this is the process of sand casting. For the first one is green sand mold casting is commonly used for engine block in sand casting. The mold made with a mixture of silica sand, clay, and water become green when moisture is present. Metal frame filled with the sand mixture are compressed or vibrate to create the mold. The two mold pieces are then separate from the pattern. Okay, for the core making, core shape the inside of casting and prevent complete filling by molten metal. They create negative draft, extend more projection, and blow off area. Core are painted to prevent gas formation except popping and that allow gas to escape. For the mold arrangement, the mold is assembled as a cube with the water jacket and cylinder mold inside. After that, clamps are used to secure the mold so it can resist the weight of the molten metal being poured into it. Pouring of molten metal is poured into the casting mold through a smaller opening at the front center. The mold has 8 big holes in their riser to fill it from the bottom up. The cold molten metal in the riser is drawn back into the casting during shrinkage. Removal from cast mold. Above you can see the aluminium block casting without the sand mold vibrating. The casting is one technique for cleaning sand. The engine block casting must be machined in order to get accurate dimension and a clean finish. That's all for me. Thank you.
Pressure die casting. Metal casting are created using the pressure die casting technique. The metal is cast in the sand as a mold. when the casting required portions are complex and the wall thickness is thin. This procedure is stepful. Pressure die casting describes the use of force to press molten metal into a mold until it has hardened. Experts agree that die is a great and efficient way to make inex- inexpensive replacement parts in large quantity and in variety of size. So here are the procedure for pressure die casting. So the first step is preparing the mold, which means the product will come out of the mold much more easily if lubricant is applied to the interior wall of the mold. Lubricant can be used to regulate mold temperature and serve as a barrier between the product and the mold. For the second step is preparing the molten metal. To prepare the molten metal, the different machine use two different methods in contrast to the other, which require heating the metal in a furnace and pouring it. The metal for the first was already molten in the injection machine. So the third step is injection. Once the mold has been prepared, the injection device injects the molten metal into it. The mold needs to be fully closed and sealed at this time. If it doesn't, the pressure inside the molten metal will cause it to explode, depending to the intended usage. The injection pressure of the molten metal into the mold may reach around the range from 1,500 to 25,000 pounds per square inch. For the for the first for the fourth step is cavity ejection. After the molten metal has hardened, the completed object is forced out an ejection pin, which is frequently used in the die casting, pull and release the cavity from the mold when actuated. Of course, if the cavity isn't substantial, it can expel. For the last one, check out. This stage involves separating the cavity from the scrap metals. Metal scrap is frequently produced in excess during high-pressure die casting. As a result, cleaning the mold of the scrap metal is necessary before reusing it. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Omar Farisudin Industry, and in this project, I will talk about the result and discussion. As for the manufacturing process, there are two processes that might be used to create an engine block. The first process is sand casting, which is sand casting is an adaptability technique that may be used to cast a wide range of metal objects, including big and complicated parts. The procedure is suitable for low to medium volume production because it is reasonably affordable. As for the second process is pressure die casting. Pressure die casting is an extremely flexible method that may be used to cast a wide range of metal components, including small precise components, huge complicated components, and even components with intricate characteristic material characteristic. It is an extremely effective method that can make parts with excellent accuracy and reproducibility. So the sustainable element in the manufacturing process. As for the sand casting, a variety of metal items can be produced using environmental friendly casting method known as sand casting. The negative effect of sand casting on the environment can be minimized by using recycled sand, water-based binder, and energy-efficient furnace. As for the pressure die casting, foundry that specialize in pressure die casting may reduce the operational negative effect on the environment. Aluminum or steel that has been recycled can be utilized to make the pressure die casting tooling. Pressure die casting negative effect on the environmental maintenance as a result. Increase of pollen is pollen, water is pollen, uh, can be utilized in pollution by testing. All three pollen are better for environment than water-based one. So as So as for the result, the optimum technique for creating an engine block for gasoline powered car has been found to be sun testing. It is crucial to select the right material for the engine block because it is the key component that houses nearly all of the engine component and must withstand the stress and pressure generated during combustion.
For the conclusion, first, no perfect method or product exists for engineer. So, from this report, we can conclude that all method we use in one one manufacturing to make a product not enough for make a uh, perfect project, because like the sample of casting, when we done the casting we need a manufacture we need a machining process. Second, each approach has pros and cons. Okay, all the process have advantage and disadvantage. Third, opinion solution need to justify investment. Fourth, consider benefit and drawback of sand casting and die casting. And five, sand casting preferred for large item like engine block at a reasonable cost. So we can conclude that sand casting are the only one method that make a process reasonable and affordable, and it made the process to be not too expensive, and the cost of the manufacturing is just reasonable. That's all from our group. Thank you and assalamualaikum.